All right, so I want to welcome everyone again. This is such an important topic. It's so hard for people to be as kind to themselves. So I'm thrilled that we have Carrie talking about this tonight, and I'm thrilled you guys are going to hear it live. So Carrie, do you mind introducing yourself a little bit?
Yes, hello. Thank you so much for having me here. You know what? I have a slide about myself so I don't forget anything because I'm a very visual learner. I'm sure you guys can relate. Okay. Yeah, so my name is Carrie Danny, two first names. And I am the founder of Rise, which is a nonprofit I'm going to tell you a little bit more about later. I am a home educator and I am a parent. I myself have sensory processing disorder, ADHD, OCD, depression, and anxiety. And then my two children, two daughters, they are autistic and ADHD. The youngest is PDA with apraxia of speech, and they both have motor delays as well. And I am co-parenting, living together by choice. My children's father and I, well, we've been doing life together for 20 years now, but our marriage ended 5 years ago, but we have chose to live together and just help each other because everything is so complicated and and so that's been a little difficult. It was difficult at first, living with your ex, but we've really come to a good place with our co-parenting, and I'm really grateful that I just, that our family is still together, and we like to say that our marriage is over, but we are committed to our family. So we've been doing that now for a little over 5 years, living together as co-parents. Also, in 2017, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then by the end of the year, it had spread. So I now have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer that started as breast cancer and it's spread into my bones. So it's all throughout my ribs, hips, throughout my spine and skull. And it's spread so much that they can't get rid of it now, but I am on chemo. I have been on chemo for 7 years now, and it's working. I am stable. My cancer has not grown, and it's been difficult, as you can imagine. But I in the beginning, I was very, very sick, in and out of the emergency room. I weighed 90 pounds. I was on 24-hour morphine. It was incredibly difficult. And my children at that time, when I was diagnosed with cancer, my PDA was 8 months old, and my oldest child was 2 years old. So that was madness. But somehow things really have gotten better, and it's not overnight. It's been a slow progress, but I really had to learn. I didn't know how to do self-care. I didn't know how to really manage my own emotions. I didn't know, and I was just exhausted, and everything was so hard. And so I myself have done a ton of counseling, therapy, classes, trainings, so many things, to just learn how to deal with all of these challenges. And like I said, it's been difficult. I definitely struggled significantly with depression and anxiety and anger. And those are things that I've always struggled with, but certainly been much more difficult since being a parent and um, and living with cancer. So I'm just excited, to share just ideas, and things to get you thinking about what you can do, and then a little bit about my other, not me personally, but my experience. I worked in nonprofit and special education for over 20 years and absolutely loved it. And I'm not currently working because I'm homeschooling my two kids, and with my cancer, it's been good since it was hard for me to quit working, but I'm able to rest more now, and that's been helping a lot with my pain and side effects. I do have the PDA level 1 and level 2 certifications and the Scala Resilience certification. I want to mention that I will be using humor to keep me focused. I know this is an important, serious topic, and I promise I am a serious person, but there will be a few jokes and memes and things thrown in just to honestly like keep me focused. And the other thing is just that I am always learning. I don't have it all figured out. But I'm trying, and I'm always learning. So I really want to hear from all of you in the chat, and I can read that later. But yeah, I encourage you guys to just really participate and chime in. And I'm sure that there's, like I said, always things that I'm learning as well. Diane, were you going to say more, or am I? That was it for my intro, or I just launch in.
You launch in,
Okay.
unless you need me, I'm happy to do anything if you need it, but otherwise,
We're good.
all
Okay.
yours.
All right. Well, I just want to mention, I think the ladies said it in the beginning, but definitely if you don't have a pen and paper, please go grab a pen and paper, because this is going to be a pretty interactive webinar, and I have a lot of questions for you guys and things I want you to really think about and write down. So just give you a minute if you need to grab a pen and paper. And I'm sure you guys, maybe you already know this, but I did just put these clips here about how beneficial it is to journal, and that it doesn't have to just be journaling like dear diary, but like they say here, writing lists, organized plans, reminders, filling out a planner, any type of writing. There's all of this great research showing how it just helps you process your emotions and your thoughts, and it's just really beneficial. And then there's even there's just the act of writing. There's like brain writing connectivity. So yeah, I just again really encourage you guys for you to get the most out of our time together, to really yeah, to just take notes and write that down. And then moving forward as well, I just can't recommend journaling enough. And bear in mind that I say that as someone who doesn't do like a daily journal entry or a gratitude journal or anything specific. I just do it when I can, and I try to write as much down as I can, but I'm not that consistent to write in my journal every day either. So but just doing it when we can. Okay, and so I want to talk a little bit about the nonprofit that I started, and then we'll really jump into the content today. But I am also representing RISE, which is Reimagining Inclusive Self-Empowerment. And RISE, we started in 2020 on Zoom, just doing online support groups. And then this year we officially became a 501c3. So that's really exciting. And really, we're just trying to help everyone to improve their self-care, because like Diane was saying, it's a struggle. We know we should do it. I'm, I don't need to tell you, you know that, but doing it is hard. And especially as a parent. So RISE, we do self-care retreats that are overnight. We do outdoor recreation that are like one-day events, just connecting to nature. We have weekly Zoom support group for cancer patients. And then we also have an online workshop every month that is completely free. That's open to everyone, and we have a new self-care topic every month. So our next one is actually next week, and it is on compassionate communication. And so I'm so proud of the nonprofit and the board that helps me. And I'll have the link and stuff. Hopefully, of course, you guys should go follow RISE, and you guys should check out the online workshops. But yeah, that's what we do. So I want to just first talk about starting self-care, because I'm guessing for a lot of you, you're either not doing any self-care or it's very sporadic, or maybe you used to do it, but since having kids and since just life, it's, you're not doing those things for yourself anymore. So I want to talk about just how to get started. And I really, really love this quote here, that true self-care is not salt baths and chocolate cake. It is making the choice to build a life you don't need to regularly escape from. And this this quote just has hit me hard for a few years now, because my life was like that before, where everything was so hard, everything was so stressful, everything was so intense that I did want to run away, and I would go to the grocery store and I would sit in the car and cry for an hour because I was finally alone away from my family. I didn't want to, I didn't want to like stress them out. And then, my co-parent is like, why does it take you so long at the grocery store? Like, well, so I get that, where things are just, where everything just seems so hard. And you don't even know, like, also I at some point was like, okay, I need to take better care of myself. When I got sick, when I got really sick with cancer, um, I, it wasn't really optional anymore to do self-care, right? It was like, no, you have to do self-care or you literally will not be here with your kids. Um, and in fact, in 2018, I was in the emergency room and they said, you're going to die. And hearing those words in the emergency room will change you, and that has certainly stuck with me, and it really jolted me. And it's just made me so so grateful for every day, because that was years ago, and I'm here, and my girls are growing up, and I'm here for all of it. But I really had to figure out how to embrace all of it, right? Because I my cancer is stage 4. I'm not going to beat cancer. I'm not going to, I have to be in treatment forever. Um, and with our kids as well, the many diagnoses that my kids have, all of it. I was like, I can't wait for things to go back to normal or wait for things to get better. I have to figure out how to be happy with all this madness around me. So I know we've all heard that advice, that quote, fake it until you make it, but no, that is not my advice at all. We're done with that, because you can't fake a PDA. I think we all know this, and you can't fake your mental health forever. You just can't. You can try. You can cry in the parking lot at the grocery store and try to hide it, but you can't, forever. And so instead of faking it until we make it, I think we should face it to embrace it, and just really be really honest about what our challenges are, address them, talk about them openly, and work through them and accept them. Because there's just a lot of things in our lives that we can't change. And we often get stuck spending a lot of energy thinking, I wish things could go back to normal. Why me? Or why this? Or what, but you can't change it. And all of your worries can't change it. So just really, embracing it. So on that note, I want to talk about radical acceptance. And I think this is a term that a lot of you have probably heard. I think we've heard the term radical acceptance talked about a lot, but I'm not sure that people really understand the radical aspect of it, because I think a lot of people think it's like, okay, yeah, I need, I need to get over it. I need to let it go. I need to, but it's more than that. Because the let it go, or is kind of like, oh, forget about it, ignore it. And it's not that. It's that we really do address and be honest about all the challenges we're dealing with. And so radical acceptance really is a distress tolerance skill to stop pain turning into suffering. And I think a distress tolerance skill is probably something we all need, right? Parenting is difficult no matter what, but especially if you have kids with really high support needs, it's difficult. And when your kids are having big emotions and things are so intense for them, it's of course it's distressing for us. We're their parents, and we want to protect them, and we want to keep them safe. But again, we can't put them in a bubble. We can't, there's just a lot of things in life that happen, no matter how much we plan or prepare. So it's important and it's helpful if we remind ourselves that reality cannot be changed. Right. And so instead of, like I said, spending that kind of energy thinking, well, if it was like this, or maybe things will get better, it's accepting the reality as it is. And really accepting your whole self again, as is, mind, body, and practicing that non-judgmental self-talk. So just accepting it as it is and not having to put judgment on it either way. Again, like I was saying, really embracing it, acknowledging it. So express your feelings, express your sadness, anger, grief, all, whatever the feelings are, the happy feelings, the hard feelings, all the feelings, but let them out. And again, talk about them, write them down, cry, just process those feelings instead of repressing them. I think if a lot of you are like me, you probably grew up with kind of being taught to repress. It's a lot of like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. You need to get over it. You need to be a big kid. And it's like we're not taught to like process and let our feelings out. We're taught to squash them down, but then they're still in there, and then it just makes everything else more difficult. So, yeah, just really let it out, process the emotions, and most importantly, I think focus on what we can control. Because again, so much of life will happen no matter what you do. So really focusing on what we can control, letting go of what we can't. And that has really, really helped me to be present. And the being more present has made me less stressed, less depressed, because I'm in the moment with my kids. I'm enjoying it. I'm there. Instead of kind of being in this fog that I really was in, especially when they were little, because I was so stressed and so worried and just so overwhelmed. And I just want to read this next part that I wrote. But it's kind of my overall feelings on radical acceptance and life, I guess. But I did not think that I would see my kids grow up. They were so little, but I'm here and I want every hard moment, all my mistakes, all the tears I've cried, every pain I've endured. I want it all. Life can be fucked up, ugly, scary, and painful. It's also beautiful and magical and fleeting. Today, right now, this is your life. You don't have to fix it or love it right now, but you can enjoy your fucked up life. You can, I promise. And then I want to talk about this, even though again, it can be a bit of a sensitive, emotional topic to bring up, but because of my illnesses and because of just living with cancer, living with incurable stage 4 cancer, it's affected my parenting, and it's really shifted things because I think a lot about how my kids will remember me. And I think most parents are thinking almost the opposite way. Like you're thinking more about your kids' future and just, are they going to be okay? Are they going to be successful? Are they going to be safe? Are they going to be healthy? Are they all these worries and all these things? And I am thinking really about when I'm not there for them, and I hope that that's when we're all old. I'm an old granny. And I picture myself being old, and I think about it a lot, but again, it's stage 4 cancer. It's incurable, and I'm lucky to be doing as well as I am. So it's just changed so much about how I parent, because again, I think it's made me be so much more present with the kids. I want to make happy memories with them as much as I can. And I know that, um, our job as parents is to prepare them for the world and to make sure they can function and be successful and take care of themselves and do all those things. And sometimes that makes us as parents feel like we need to really be stricter on them and discipline them and, and toughen them up, or, but the world will do that. The whole world will do that for you. The world will toughen them up. The world will give them all the all the hardness they can. And so I've decided that I want to be the soft spot for my children, maybe possibly the only soft spot in the world for them, but I want to be that soft spot that genuinely supports them no matter what. And just it's not that I don't discipline them or that I don't, but I don't want to be the one, I guess, that comes down so hard on them about every little thing. I want to be the one that they land on when everything else is difficult. And I just want to share this little story about the perfect PB&Js. So a few years ago, it was summertime, and we had no money at all. I wasn't working, and my disability had gotten messed up, and we were, and of course the kids want to go and they want to do things and they want to go have fun. We have no money to go anywhere or do anything. But so we took I said, well, let's go to the splash park. Our city has a free community park with the little fountains and water, and so I'm packing up snacks because, again, we can't get fast food. We're not getting a snack on the way. And so I'm packing up snacks and juice and everything to go to the park, and I'm making them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Such a simple thing that I'm sure most of us have done as parents. But I really was like, you know what? I really just took my time, and I was like, I'm going to make the perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with the peanut butter all the way to the edges and lots of jelly, and the one likes hers cut diagonally, but the other one likes hers cut into squares, and just, making them all perfect, exactly how they want it. And I just remember, making the sandwich and thinking to myself, maybe when I'm gone and my kids are older, they'll be making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and they'll remember, and they'll think my mom made the perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then maybe they'll try to make that perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich for their kids. Or maybe, again, maybe I'll be here and I'll be an old lady and we'll talk about it together. But it was such a simple thing. It was a nothing, we were going to the park. It was a super budget event. But to me, I was like, no, this is significant. This is a memory for them. This is their childhood. And my point is, the most smallest of things, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, can be a big deal. And just like I said, I was just thinking about it in those terms of like, what will the kids remember about me, and what will they remember about their childhood? It's just really helped me, to be present, which has brought my stress and anxiety down. But yeah, and just shaped how I parent. And then, I have to share, hopefully you guys are looking at all these adorable pictures, but in case if you didn't see this one on the bottom, please note that this is a real story. You can see I set up a little foot bath for them because they really like the princess spa treatment. And so here's my PDA getting her little footy pedicure. And she said, this was a couple years ago when she was 5. She said, "Mommy, you're a perfect butler," which was already funny enough because I didn't know that I was their butler. But her older sister chimes in with, "Our butler has a great butt." And that, in a nutshell, is pretty much who my kids are. But again, it's just the simplest of things can be fun and really memorable. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is just things that we do really differently here in my household, and hopefully this kind of gives you permission to do things your own way, and to feel good about that. Um, but so overall, just the focus of not being the best, but our best, right? That's going to look so different for every family and for every parent, and it's just there's so much pressure and judgment out there on us as parents, right? Constantly from literally everyone. um, from the older generations, from the school, from the doctors, from everyone telling you do this, do that, and it's a lot of judgment, and it's difficult, I think, to ignore that judgment, right? Because you want to do the best thing for your kids, and we don't always know what that is, but I just, yeah, just don't worry about being the best, but figuring out what is best for you and your family. So just some things, a couple of things that we do differently, like vacations, for example. We our kids don't like crowds. They don't, it's difficult. We don't go to Disneyland or a lot of things like that. But we find hotels with an indoor pool because they love to swim, and we'll go to the hotel. We'll order pizza, we'll swim, and I personally just enjoy it because I'm like, hotel, clean sheets. I didn't wash them. When we leave, I will not be washing them. I literally am like in the hotel, like, who's not going to vacuum this floor? Me. And, and so I just enjoy it. And again, we don't have a lot of money. I'm not working, but we will go to a hotel that is here in the town where we live. Which is great because we don't have to rent a car. We don't have to spend a lot of money on gas. And the kids don't complain about how long the drive was. And but just a little mini vacation, doesn't have to be extravagant. Isn't maybe, again, what other families are doing for like having big vacations or going to big venues, but we love it and we have fun and we relax. And then I also think I figure I love going to a hotel because I tell myself, like, oh, it's so nice, like, oh, these sheets don't smell like dogs, and I won't be cleaning, but also that's a whole day that you were not in your house, so your house didn't get dirty and you don't have to clean your house, so it's kind of like getting an extra day. um Holidays are another thing that we've just adapted and do really differently now. We don't go to the big Thanksgiving dinner at grandma's house because we really can't handle it. It's too many people, too much noise, too much movement. But we have family, we have friends, and we love them, and we want to be with them. And so we just do them one-on-one, where we make plans, around Christmas time, birthdays, whatever it is, whatever holidays you do. But we'll just say, hey, like, let's have dinner. We'll go to your house. And we'll bring gifts or we'll do whatever. But we don't really go to parties. And I personally would love to throw parties here at the house all the time, but it's, yeah, it's too much for the kiddos. And so, but we've really maintained important relationships and important, family relationships by just doing it one-on-one. And why not? And what's the difference? And for my PDA, particularly, I think doing like celebrating holidays not on the day makes it go a little easier, right? Because it's not the demand of, well, the calendar said, and this is what everybody's doing, and it has to be on this day. It doesn't have to be on that day, right? So that's made, oh gosh, yeah, not forcing ourselves to go to, these big dinners and these big events, but still celebrating with those people just one-on-one. It's been great, and it's allowing us to, to have keep those important relationships, but not get overwhelmed, and avoid a lot of meltdowns. And even dinner and meals. I know it's like, that's the thing you always think of, like, family sits down to dinner together and talk about your day. That's not happening. There's no way that is happening here in my house. But honestly, we're not all hungry at the same time. We all have sensory issues. I have, my nausea. If I'm on chemo, I'm not necessarily eating a lot that week. And And so we don't force it. We don't force, come to the table, sit down. No, we eat sometimes in our rooms or on the couch, or but really it's been good because we listen to our bodies and we eat when we're hungry. And we've just, allowed that flexibility for the kids as well, to eat on the couch or in the backyard or on the floor, and yeah, again, I think we have these or we're told, all these ideas of like, oh, the family dinner, that's when you should be together. And but if that doesn't work for you guys, if that's too demanding or too stressful or too whatever, you don't have to do these traditional things. You can really figure out whatever works for you guys. And that's what you're gonna do because you know that it's working. Okay, now this particular topic, this is, I would say, the number one way of how I actually accomplish anything and get anything done in my day, because my kids do have high support needs, and they do really need me with them. They need a lot of help regulating, and they're homeschooled, so it's, we're together all the time. And you guys already know, like, just telling them do this, do that, it's not going to work. But when I get into the role play with my daughter, especially my PDA, everything is more fun, and things are moving, and we're getting it done, and it's just, I play it by ear, it's whatever I need to get done at that day or whatever. But if I'm, trying to wash dishes, and my daughter, of course, is play with me. You never play with me. Even though we play all the time. But and I'm like, okay, but I gotta get this done. And I just started, making it all the role play. So I'm like, well, okay, if I gotta wash the dishes, then it's like we're playing restaurant, and she's the boss, and I'm like, well, okay, boss, I'm working on these dishes. I'll get them done as fast as I can. If you can see in the pictures, that's our kitchen, and the little pink, she's got her own little play kitchen right there in our kitchen. So I'm washing dishes, and she's, making little Play-Doh snacks for her toys, or but so she's right there next to me, and we're still interacting, but I'm getting things done that I just have to do sometimes, so yeah, I'll be the dishwasher, the cook, the janitor, the daycare lady, 'cause she loves to play with her plushies and her little baby alives, but also the more that we do this role playing, it's really, I can see, it's so good for my daughter, because when she's a character, or when she's doing the doll or the toy, it's just so much easier for her to talk and express herself, right? And so because she's this character, and she can act out scenarios, and so we play out all kinds of scenarios, and that really reduces her anxiety, because she wants to know what to expect or how things are going to be. She really wants to practice all of these different scenarios. So I've seen that really bringing her anxiety down. And then you guys already know, the more you can bring your kids' anxiety down, that will bring your anxiety down, right? And also in this role play, I have learned a lot about my kids, especially about like their worries and things. Because like I said, it's just easier for her to talk and express herself when she's the character, versus when she's herself and you're like asking her questions. She'll freeze or she'll stress. But really doing the role play, like, just as much as we can, it's helped so much. And then another thing I do in part of the role playing is just talk directly to her toys. So talk to her plushie or her baby alives, even her favorite blanket. And so instead of like, oh, hey, it's time to go, we got to go here, we got to get ready, I'm like talking to the babies, like, yeah, and of course they all have names. She gave them all names, but so I'm like, oh, whatever baby it is that day, I'm like, oh, okay, like, are you ready? Let's get ready, let's get dressed. And but talking to her toys instead of her has been, especially with my PDA or with my older one too, who is autistic but not PDA. But it's just been so helpful to like get her going, because like I said, she, for her, it's fun. I think it reduces her stress, and so she's like, yeah, okay, and we'll, she'll get her shoes on and we'll get in the car and we'll whatever it is that we need to do. But just, yeah, just addressing her toys has made such a big difference, and that's like a little easy kind of thing, but um the more that I do it, the better it is. Miming, I want to mention as well, because if your kiddos are like mine, just too much noise can be really overwhelming sometimes, especially if they're already stressed and you're just talking and you're not yelling, you're trying to just tell them stuff, but a lot of times, my kids don't or can't listen to me. Um, and so I've started miming or like charades, a lot of things. And that has also helped tremendously, because she kind of, it's a little more fun. It's kind of like you're playing charades. It's more of a game. And but I think just eliminating the sound, just that helps her like focus and not be overwhelmed and not get stressed. And so then she actually is like paying attention to what I'm doing. So that's been awesome. And oh, and then voices. Of course, you got to do silly little voices. And again, you don't have to be super creative. You don't have to be, I do the same squeaky voice for all the characters. It's just, it's just, but just the things like that, where the more that you get into it and the more that you make it kind of playful, it's more fun for the kids, but it's also a lot more engaging for them, because again, there's a lot of times I think my kids just don't and can't listen to me, and that's just a kid thing, right? I'm sure when I was growing up, I didn't listen to half of what my mom was saying to me. There's some biological block where you just have to ignore your parents. And so these are just some really good ways that I found to like communicate with them and to get them to engage and to get them to pay attention to me. Oh, and if these other pictures on the side, that is her doing her homeschool. A lot of times we really struggle to get the work done for homeschool. And so we started doing daycare or preschool. I mean, we started doing preschool with her baby alives. And there you see them, we're practicing writing their names, and then she's, and but yeah, and that's usually how we get her schoolwork done and how we get her, just, yeah, how we get a lot of things done. And it is more fun. And then this is a big one. So this is just, and again, I think you guys know this, like, that you're a role model for your children. They're always watching us, but we're their first role model, but I think sometimes we don't think of ourselves as a role model. We think of ourselves and we think of all of our flaws and all of our own inadequacies or shortcomings. But regardless, you are very much a role model for your kiddos, because again, they aren't always listening to us, but they're very much watching us and seeing what we do. So these are things that I've been doing to help me, but also really, really help the kids, which is to just really verbalize my frustrations, but then also like how I calm down, because my kids definitely struggle with the emotional regulation, and but they also feel like, what they're like, why is everything harder for me? Why is, why, like that's how they feel, and they forget, or they're not forget, but don't fully understand that everyone has big emotions, everyone has stress, everyone gets overwhelmed. And so the more that I've been able to really just verbalize it when I am stressed or when I am scared, any emotions, but especially the more difficult emotions, like I said, I used to feel like I don't want to, I don't know, like I don't want to burden my family, or I don't want them to worry about me. So I was like, I'm gonna wait till I go to the grocery store and cry in the parking lot. And um, I'm not. I mean, I don't cry at the grocery store anymore usually, but more importantly, I am not keeping all that stuff inside and thinking like, no, don't let your kids, don't let the kids see you worried, because then they'll get worried. no, it's that, you know, again, it's normal. And the more that I can show them, like, yes, I do get really, really stressed out and I get angry and I get all these things too, but there's a way to calm down, there's a way to work through it, there's a way, you know. So the more that I can really like verbalize it with them, um, is just really helping them with their frustrations and learning how to calm down, sharing when I've messed up or when I've lost at something. And the more embarrassing, the better. My children absolutely love to hear stories from my past about how I was humiliated in high school or whatever, you know. But again, I think like sometimes as parents, because we're like, oh, I'm the role model, we're thinking like I have to appear perfect to my kids, right? I have to be, you know, I have to be perfect. But that at least for my kids, really, really stresses them out a lot more, because then it makes them think that something's really, really wrong with them. Why are they messing up so much? Why are they getting things wrong? Why are they, you know? And so the more that I've told them about just things from my past that were embarrassing, or, you know, just think, yeah, we all have them, I'm sure. That has really, really helped them to just understand that, yeah, bad things happen, embarrassing things happen, but time goes by and we learn to do better, and we, you know, we can move on. So all of my mistakes, past or even present and future, I just really try to remind myself like that's a chance to show my kids how to try again, how to move on, how to work through it. And so instead of trying to like present this, you know, perfect person to them, like, oh, you know, I've got it all together and I never mess up. Quite the opposite. I really share with them like, oh, I forgot about this. I, you know, I was an accident and this happened. But just really, really sharing that with them, and using that as that opportunity to really show them like ways to deal with those embarrassing or things, the mistakes. And just like I mentioned, we know we can't just tell our kids what to do, but showing them tends to be much more effective. And so we're always talking about reducing demands on the kids, right? Reduce demands. So let's start reducing demands on ourselves because life and parenting, it's all too much. It really is. And like I said, there's so much, you know, judgment and pressure that you got to do this and this and this, and you don't. You have to do what works for you and your kids, and ignore the stuff that doesn't apply to you. But so just some really like good practical tips. Number one is conserving energy. You know, this is something I've had to do because of the chemo, because of, you know, my energy being almost like zero at a point. But a robot vacuum, you know, and I thought that was like so bougie. But honestly, I saw one at the store for $25 the other day. It's not bougie anymore. Um, but you know, it's just, it might be worth it if, because my kids are not very helpful with cleaning up. I don't always have the energy, but having a messy house is stressful. So something as simple as getting a robot vacuum to help you out. Buying the fruits and vegetables that are pre-cut. I know I used to always be like, no, no, like they cost extra and I could just cut them at home. Why would I pay extra for that? But if you're busy, if you're tired, if it would help you and your family eat more consistently and eat more healthy and not stress about meals, spend the extra couple dollars on the pre-cut fruits and veggies, you know, or again, whatever it is for you. If it's doing, you know, takeout sometimes, or just, we don't need to be feeling bad about those things. Like, oh no, I need to be slaving over a home cooked meal. No, we just gotta make sure everybody's fed and moving on, you know. A shower chair. I mean, this is something I have has been super helpful for me. But honestly, I think even if I did not have cancer, I think a shower chair would be so great because gosh, it's probably your only time that you're alone. In fact, you might not be alone. My kids usually bust into the to the bathroom when I'm in there, but um in the shower, like that's the last place we need to be expending extra energy, like just sit down, just um or a disabled parking placard. A lot of us, if your children elope or have danger, safety awareness issues, you can get a disabled parking placard. And just that has been, it's again like a small simple thing, but being able to park right in front, go right in, my kids don't run off. I'm not worried about the cars and the traffic, because we've had some big scares with elopement in the past. And so something as simple as having that primo parking is just going to make your day easier. Going to the store is hard with kids. And so something like that. And just even again, like literally your energy of chasing them through the parking lot, and, and the electric shopping carts, like the electric shopping carts that they have at, Target or wherever. You don't need a permit to use those. You don't need a disabled parking placard. No one will ask you why you're using it. We use it. We get in there. Sometimes my kid sits in the basket thing. Sometimes she sits on with me, but again, it's like, if you have to go to the store and you have to get food or whatever essentials, and you're just dragging yourself out of your car, use the electric shopping cart. It's fine. You can do these things. Also, just really, really adjusting. So this is going to be adjusting almost everything probably, but adjusting our standards. So if the dishes stay in the sink overnight, even for another night, maybe another, oh well, okay, it's okay, but just, I think we've got to adjust our standards, and along with that, our priorities, right? So yeah, especially with a kid with high support needs, that's going to be the priority. It is. And if your kid needs you and it was a long day and you're just exhausted, leave the dishes there or leave the floor dirty. I don't care. It will be there. It will wait for you. Go to sleep. Rest. But don't beat yourself up for those things, because yeah, just when you really prioritize your life, a lot of those things can go to the wayside. And I'm not saying let your house become, unmanageable, but just to not put that pressure on yourself of like, oh, everything has to be clean and this is disorganized and I need to do that. Like, if you don't get it all done, that's okay, because you were prioritizing your child, or you were prioritizing yourself maybe sometimes, and that's good. That's a good thing, so just like I said, if you need to let stuff wait, do it. And yeah, and the judgments from other people, we don't care anymore. We're gonna let that go. They don't understand your life. They might not understand why you're doing everything the way you're doing for yourself or your kids. Okay. This is a hard one, but I've really, really worked to just completely let go of the judgments of others, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter, as long as you know that what you're doing really is, the best thing for you guys. But yeah, and you might have to adjust work. If possible, like working from home. My co-parent has been working from home since before pandemic, and it wasn't a work from home job, but we asked his company if he could work from home because we needed to move, and they allowed it. And now he's been doing that for like since before, pre-pandemic. But just adjusting a lot of things, right? So that maybe you can be home more or be with your kids more, or be able to homeschool or whatever it is. But just, adjusting your schedule, adjusting everything. And building independence in the kids. So this is hard. This is hard, especially if, for our kiddos, because they really do need us. They really do need their safe person so much, right? But we can little by little build up their independence. And the more that that happens, the more that you can actually breathe, right? And maybe rest some of the time. So for us, it's been really helpful doing homeschool, um, because the kids are here and they're with us, but I am really encouraging them to be more independent. So for us, that's just meant, really staying nearby them, but me doing my own thing. So I'm maybe on my laptop or I'm doing something else, but I'm still there. I'm nearby, working from home if possible. Um, Doing as much as you can on Zoom. I try to set up as much as I can to be a Zoom meeting or telehealth meetings, so I don't have to leave. I'm here, you know? Um, and so my kiddos can be with me really super focused one-on-one time. Um, I'm sure, I think to us, it feels like we are like, I feel like I'm always giving all of my energy to my kids, but maybe I am, but my cell phone is being and I'm checking it, or somebody's interrupting me, somebody's calling you, just right, like all these little things. And to our kids, especially the real sensitive ones, it feels like they don't feel that we're their focus, so I've been trying to really make that effort. And it's not going to be all day, it's not like 24 hours of staring them directly in the eyes, but it's like when you are playing, put the cell phone, leave it, don't check it, or just that. I've just really tried to like give them my attention, and that's helped so much, especially if I know that I do have to leave. So if I do have a doctor's appointment I have to go to, or I have some rare occasion where I'm leaving without the children, if I can give them some super focused one-on-one time that day, then when I do say, hey, I gotta go and I do this, they're like, okay, bye mom, love you. Whereas before, oh, it was a horrendous meltdown anytime I left. And then just always child led with independence too, right? So it's following their lead, and so when they really need you, of course that's maybe not the time that you super push the independence, but little by little, right, that they can tolerate. And like I said, with you there, but building in them doing their own project or doing their own thing. And then just quickly, the tired games, I have to recommend these. I did not come up with these, but they are fantastic. So when you are too exhausted to even move, these are games you can play with your children while you are laying down. So you lay down on your stomach and they draw on your back, like they can draw a picture, they can write their name, they can write what, and you have to guess what they're drawing. So fun. Plushy pile where you lay down and they go and collect every pillow and blanket and plush teddy bear in the entire house, and they just bury you in them and you just lay there enjoying it. And a favorite around here, what's on my butt? You lay down you're always laying down, importantly. Again, you got to lay on your stomach for this one, and the kids can go pick anything. I mean, they can go get a toy, they can go get a banana, I don't know, they go get random things and they put it on your butt, and you have to try to guess what it is. And it's silly and it's funny, but you are giving them your attention and you are engaging them, but you importantly are laying down while they are running around collecting things. So had to mention those. And then anytime, for the rest of the presentation, if you see like this little yellow post-it note down here in the corner, that is a book recommendation. So Listen is a really great book that I loved, that just kind of talked about some of these things. But Listen is just a really great parenting book overall. And it's like very similar type, like a Ross Green type of approach, but more with the communication. And but yeah, and it's great for parents because it also talks about not just communication with your kids, but listening partnerships, where you can vent, where you can process your emotions. So I highly recommend that book. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is emotional control. And I put calm down there in quotes because I try not to say that to anyone. Nobody wants to be told to calm down, right? So I hope that's not triggering for anyone seeing that up there. But the emotional control, we're most of us are working very hard on helping our kids with their emotional control, right? Because of the meltdowns, the big emotions, the explosive behavior. But do we have that emotional control for ourselves? You know? Because again, we have to model it and we have to stay calm and we have to and it's hard. It's hard when again you're tired, you're stressed, and you have your own triggers or just everything, right? So I really want to talk about, yeah, like just what you're doing for your own emotional control, and really think about what depletes you, right? Because for me, I know it's when I'm tired, like then that's when when I don't have the patience for my kids to, like stay calm and be so loving and be, just have that patience with them if I'm tired, right? But I had to figure out like all the things that are depleting me, all the things that are taking my attention away from my kids. And so these are just mine. You, of course, can have maybe very different things that bother you, but like noise is a really, really big trigger for me. And for a long time, I would, come into the living room of the house and the TV is on, the iPads are on, the fan is on, and the kids are both shouting, "Mom, mom, mom," and I was so overwhelmed that I couldn't even think straight to give them an answer. And then it would come across angry to them, and I didn't want to be, but I didn't even know like what the problem was. But I figured out there's way too much noise and I can't distinguish the noises. I can't hear you. I can't focus. And it was kind of making me angry because the overwhelm, right? But when I figured that out a few years back, I was able to communicate that with the kids. And then instead of me, like kind of snapping or just, I was able to say like, hey, can you turn down the volume? Hey, can you pause whatever you're watching, or and then they just learned to do that. And so now they'll like, if they when they need me, they'll pause their video or they'll turn it down. They even started turning down the brightness because I'm very light sensitive too. But just knowing for yourself like what are your triggers that are again just making things more difficult for you to give your kids that focus that you want to. So for me, noise was a huge one, and the temperature is a huge one, it turns out, because I'm always cold or having a hot flash is extreme, one or the other. But it would make me very grumpy and it would make me very unfocused too, because I'm like shivering or I've got goosebumps or and so now I just literally layer on and off all day. And that's okay. But like just the awareness of it is what's helped so much, right? So I just really encourage each of you to think about that and to start paying attention to those things in the whole environment, or just things that, yeah, that are making you irritated or making you unfocused, or just making it more difficult to give your kiddos all of that patience that you want to. And then once you figure out what your triggers are, then you can plan for them, right? Instead of reacting. So that's I think the real goal is to, again, if I walk into the living room or anywhere really, wherever, their bedroom, wherever, and it's too loud, I immediately, I'm like, hey, okay, hold on, we got to let's pause this, or let's turn this down, or let's turn off whatever, instead of just like in the moment kind of, again, snapping or having like being short with them. But so really having a plan instead of reacting. And bear with me, my kitty is here again. My co-host was here in the beginning. I don't know if everybody got to see him, but he was meowing. Okay. But so anyways, yes, so having a plan instead of just reacting, right? And also I'll just mention like, if because it's going to happen maybe where even when you plan for things, right, that you do get overwhelmed. And if you are so overwhelmed that you don't know what to do, you can't do anything, then just breathe and focus on your breathing. It sounds too simple to work, right? But that's I've had to do it many times when my anxiety is just through the roof and it's like I don't know what to do, I can't think straight. Just breathe, just breathe and focus on your breathing, and it will bring you back to the moment. And like, I am safe, I am alive, I am here in the world, you know, and then when you kind of get your focus back, then you can figure out what you need to do. Another book recommendation, you guys maybe have heard of this one already, but Declarative Language Handbook. And that book is not really about emotional control, which this slide is about, but I think that it can really help with it, because when you learn how to do declarative language, you have to, at least I feel like I have to like translate what I want to say to my kids, right? Because I want to remove the demands. I don't want to ask too many questions. And so in my head, it's like, do this, do that, but I have to think how to say it, how to rephrase it. And that stops me from just like blurting out the whatever, you know, because I'm like, no, it is important how I say this. The kids are so sensitive, and they're so smart that they're paying attention to so many little details, and just your language can help. So Declarative Language Handbook is amazing for removing demands and empowering kids. But as the parent, I think it can also be super helpful to kind of slow us down and make us really think about what we want to say before we say it. Okay, I did tell you guys to have pen and paper. Here we go. Here's one of the writing exercises. So something that's been super helpful for me is mantras or affirmations. There's, you know, different ways of saying it. I think I usually call them mantras because that to me implies like the repetitiveness of it, that you're saying it over and over and over, which I have to do to really get it into my own thick skull. And because I tend to ruminate, but for me, mantras can be very, very powerful and very helpful, but it has to have significance to you. You know, we can't all use the same mantra because it's not going to affect us the same. So it could be a quote that really jolts you, you know, that really makes you feel something. But I think that mantras are most effective when they are put in our own words. So my question for you is, what do you want most for your children, for your family, and for yourself? And from this little exercise, you might not have your whole mantra written, but this is going to give you the starting point to figure out what is most important. What do I want to focus on? What do I need to be reminding myself of? And then I want to share my my mantras, just to kind of give you some ideas. Again, you don't have to use any of these, but I just kind of, I wanted to share some of the ones that have really gotten through to me. And I'm talking in the really difficult times, like when you don't want to get out of bed, but you know that you have to, you know, and you just are so overwhelmed or so unmotivated, or just, yeah, just struggling. So these are my favorite mantras. Everything is temporary. That is by Marcus Aurelius, the Stoicism. All time is quality time. That is by Andrea Gibson from Timepiece. Time to connect, not to correct. I did not come up with that. One of my favorite speech therapists on TikTok said that, and I tried to find her name and I couldn't find it. I did not come up with that. And I always want to give credit where credit is due. But I just loved that one, particularly with the kids, right? That a lot of the time in the moment, it's time to connect, not to correct. And later, when emotions are down, we can talk and we can work on it, and we can, you know, then, but in the moment, it's time to connect. And then the rest of them are the ones that I just, you know, wrote myself, again, that's just what I need, you know. I choose to be happy. And this particular one I wrote when I really was still so depressed, but I was trying hard to move on and get through everything. And rest more without guilt. I am grateful for a safe home and medicine. I am grateful to be a mother, to know my truest love, and to give love as long as I can. And so again, I really encourage you guys to take some time, after this to think about that and write your own or find those quotes that move you. And then say them to yourself when you need that pep talk, when you need that motivation. Speaking of talking to yourself, we got to talk about self-talk. So for me, my self-talk used to be horrendous, like abusive, I would say. I mean, it was bad. It was just really, really overly critical and negative. So I encourage all of you to really just listen to how you're talking to yourself, to maybe even say it out loud, because sometimes our thoughts, when you say it out loud, it's just different, it hits different, and you're like, oh. And if you are having negative self-talk, something that I started doing that's really, really helped me when I started like spiraling down or, getting too overly critical of myself is I stop and I ask myself, if this whole same scenario happened to a friend, and she called me and she said this and this and this happened, and then I did this, would I chew her out? Would I tell her she was so stupid? Or would I say, well, you know what, you're tired and you were trying, and this, like, we're so supportive to our friends, to everyone else. We've got to learn to have that compassion for ourselves. And so if I would not say it to a friend, then I am not going to say it to myself. And I can honestly say my self-talk has massively improved. And I think that is so important for my kids as well, to, again, just that role modeling and that positivity, and their what their internal voice becomes. And the less judgmental we are on ourselves, we become much less judgmental of others. Okay, and then this is all still on the communication. I want to really talk about stress responses, because our kiddos, again, can, really react with these big negative emotions, and it can be hurtful. And so for me, it's been really, really helpful to understand that those are stress responses from my kids, and to kind of translate it almost in my head, right? That way, it helps me respond instead of react, because being told, shut up, you're dumb, I hate you, your initial reaction is, you're hurt, or I'm like, you want to square up? What do you mean? It's like you have your initial like defensiveness, right? But that doesn't help. And that's not what the kiddo needs. And that's not even what they mean, I don't think. So try to remind myself, like, if when our kids are telling us, shut up, what they really mean is, I cannot listen right now. When they're saying you're dumb, they're really saying you don't understand me right now. And when they're saying I hate you, they're saying I can't deal with my emotions right now. The kitty is, let me, hold on, I'm gonna just let him out for a minute. He wants to go see I think he wanted to go visit his siblings. Okay. But again, it's preparing ourselves, right, and figuring out, even like in these stressful moments while your kid is like yelling at you or throwing things at you, and the words are hurtful, but being able to understand, like, okay, no, this is really a cry for help. This is really a distress signal from them, taking out how we feel about it, so that we can respond in the way our kids need, instead of reacting with our own emotions. Asking for and accepting help. This can be so hard. For me, I got to the point where I really, really needed help, when I was so sick and the kids were so little and the PDA was nonverbal, and everything was just hard. And I didn't really know how to help or how to ask for help, because I had always been the person helping other people. And then when I needed help, I didn't even know how to, it's a hard thing to do. So asking for and accepting help, it's just so important. And I hear a lot that people are, they're like, I don't have help. I don't have help. I don't have family nearby, or there's no one that can handle my kids, or my kids don't want to be away from me, and so I want to talk about really building your village. I think a lot of us, we don't necessarily have this great support system, but you need it. And so If you don't have it, we're going to build it. We're going to make it. And so these again are just my personal examples of some of the things I've done, many years ago when my kids went to school. We just, between my schedule and I was working and their dad and the grandparents and we just couldn't do all the pickups. And they went to different schools because one was in special ed and, across town, and just, it was so complicated. And one of our neighbors who lives a couple houses down, I would see her at the school when I was doing pickups, and so I knew she had kids there. I didn't know her. We were not friends. I want to clarify that. I just, we would see each other and be like, hi, neighbor. And, but we started, we had no one to pick up the kiddo. And so I just walked on down the street, knocked on the door, and was like, hey, I know you're there and you pick up the kids. Like, can you pick up Claire every Thursday and just bring her home? You're already doing that, right? And I noticed you have a minivan. And she did. She picked up, and it was like, cool, no problem, and I didn't know her and we weren't friends. And but sometimes we're gonna have to reach out. We're gonna have to be resourceful. And moving back to my hometown, we were living 45 minutes from the beach and it was nice, but moved back to my hometown. Hadn't really planned on that, but I was like, I need the grandparents, I need the aunties and uncles. And so here we are. And so it might be, that you again, these adjustments, really big ones sometimes even. And time with friends, again, it's very difficult on my kids if I'm not with them. So I just invite friends to come over here, just come on by my house, or we'll go to your house. And I even started really, because I love coffee. And I would always, like, if I was visiting a friend, run through and get a nice coffee for me and for the friend, that I could treat myself and, be a good friend. But I don't even do that anymore. I show up with a bag of coffee. I'm like, you got a coffee maker? Because the budget sometimes is just not in the budget to go on a coffee run. But again, it doesn't, have to be extravagant. But it's super important that we as adults and parents get time with friends. I didn't post that link to that article, but there's research showing how just having girl time reduces your stress, helps you live longer. I mean, like, significantly reduces your stress, because when you're with friends, you vent, you laugh, you unload, you maybe get advice. But I know how hard it is to, like, take our kids, like I said, to big venues, or to go to parties, or to, or to go and do something and leave the kids at home. So I just take them with me, bring them a little project, bring them something to do, or, and just make sure that I'm still having time with friends, because it is important. And then the co-parenting, we should probably set up a whole nother webinar on co-parenting. I'll talk to Ruth and Diane about that. But to put it in a nutshell, just the collaboration, it can be difficult. It's difficult to parent, and then it's especially difficult to co-parent. But the more that we can work together instead of trying to do our own things, it's just helped everybody. And then if you're wondering, like, okay, I'm building this village, I'm reaching out to my neighbors, I'm trying to, have time with friends or whatever, but you're like, and I may be asking, for help, but I'm already overloaded. So how do I help other people? Like, how do I be a good friend if I'm trying to, have friends? And so for me, it's just been incorporating the stuff that I already do. I'm home every day with my kids, right? Because I homeschool. So sometimes if my friends or my sister-in-law or whoever, needs me to watch the kids, okay, cool, I'm here, I'm home, or transportation has been a big one. The reason that you don't hear my PDA interrupting me this whole time is because she's not here. She, on Thursdays, she has gymnastics with her cousins, and me and her go and pick up the twins, the cousins are twins, at their school, and then I drive them all to gymnastics. Then my brother-in-law picks them up at the end of class, takes them back to their house, and they just play until bedtime. So I go pick her up later tonight. And it's great because she loves her cousins. She's, doing good. Again, building that independence. I get a couple of hours to myself, and it's just, this is the types of things that we do for each other a lot. So I'll pick up their kids, or they'll pick up my kids, or just kind of helping each other out with those things. And like food too, if I have extra food even. I want to talk about some of these resources real quickly. Respite and IHSS. In-home support services, or in different states it might be called something else, but most states do have an in-home supportive services program. I'm in California, so we have a great program here, but a lot of people I've talked to think that their state doesn't do that, and it does. Especially because our kids just the high support needs. They do need extra help with a lot of things, and so you can apply through usually like your state disability department. They'll assess and they'll come out, and you can hire someone, they pay them to just help out in the house. And we have and you can choose your person who you hire. It could be a family member, it could be a friend. We have a family friend. She comes once a week and she washes all the dishes. I could cry. It is the most wonderful thing. And but she's being paid, and so it's not like you have to like ask of someone and then you feel, it's she's paid for her time and she's happy to help. And yeah, but she does the dishes and she cooks, like a big pot of soup, so we'll have leftovers, or and then that's it. It's once a week. But and then respite is similar through a different state program that we get respite, where again a caregiver is paid to be with the children. But the big thing that I want to say about this is that you don't have to not be there when the person is there, because again a lot of my friends who also have children who are autistic, they're like, well, I can't, he won't let me drop him off and leave him with someone. He won't, he can't. But I don't do that. I'm here, and the worker comes to my house and I'm here, but I like sit down. I sit down and watch TV with the kids, or sometimes I fall asleep on the couch and then she like tucks me in with a little blanket. And but I just want to like have you kind of rethink what respite is, or in-home support services, because respite is like, a break for the caregiver. And I think a lot of people think, oh, like like a babysitter, but you can be there. The person can come to your home. And again, you choose that person. It could be grandma, it could be a sibling, it could be, it could be a neighbor, whatever. Just they come to your home, and so you are there. And so your child is not stressed. You're right there, but somebody else is helping, and it is a tremendous relief. The waivers for Medicaid, most states have that as well. So just if you're an autism qualifies. So if you don't have Medicaid as a secondary insurance, you should, because you can qualify regardless of your income. And I do that when your kids have to be sedated for dental work and the bill is $1,200, you will be really happy that you got the Medicaid. Just again, our kids sometimes do need a lot of extra healthcare and extra things, and it's so expensive. Homeschool charters, we're in a charter school that's for homeschools, and they pay for my kids to do art and gymnastics and horseback riding. They buy all of our they bought the kids an iPad and a laptop, art supplies. It's amazing. And best of all, when we get the supplies, like subscription kits, all kinds of stuff. If my kids don't want to do it, okay, I don't care, because I didn't spend my money on it. Right now, if I had shelled out and then, the kids are like, oh, it's boring, I'm like, oh, but we can be more flexible. And if they don't want to do it, okay, not a problem, but so check for things like that too, because there, that depends on where you live, but these homeschool charters can be incredibly helpful with funding. And food drives is something that I go to pretty often. And then that was why food was listed on there on something I do for friends. Like sometimes we'll get, a bunch of stuff, but it's like, oh, we got zucchinis and we don't like those. I give them to my neighbor. Then when I need to ask her for a favor, she knows me, she likes me, I brought her zucchinis. I um but you know, just things like that that we can be doing to help ourselves, and not worrying about like, oh, about like, is it a handout, or I might, you know, do it like, sometimes we need help, go get help, it's okay. Oh, and then when you are building your village and these people are helping, hopefully sometimes with coming to your home or a school pickup or whatever it is, it's going to be super important that we educate them about our kids' needs, right? Because our kids are not quite the typical kids. So books that I recommend, for these books are specifically for kids. So my friends who have kids, they read these books to their kids, and it has helped tremendously in my kids having friends, having friendships, you know, because again, my kids sometimes can, you know, it can be challenging, even though they love their friends. Sometimes again, they blurt out hurtful words, they explode, they get overwhelmed. And the more that their friends can understand that, the more that they are forgiving and patient and understanding. And there is, so these two books, it's a panda thing. That one has really great tips in the back. Like I like highlighted the specific ones, you know, the M, but that's great. And then Super Shamlal, my daughters really, really connected with that book. It's a little camel that has PDA. And the first time we read it, which was years ago, they were little. Her sister, the very first time we read it, she goes, "The panda is Becky," or I mean, the camel is Becky. But again, you know, seeing it on paper, and it just helps our kids like understand things so much better. So those are some really great books. We're doing okay on time.
I just
Are
was
we-
going to let you know we have about a couple minutes left.
Okay, I think we're almost done.
Okay,
Thank
awesome.
you. Okay, I might have to go through these a little bit quickly, but boundaries is another thing that's going to be super important. And I wanted to talk about establishing boundaries. And then the next slide is about holding them, because like me personally, I did not grow up in a household that had boundaries. I didn't. So as an adult, I wasn't even sure like, what are my boundaries? So this can be really difficult, you know, and you're gonna probably have to really dig in through your own past trauma, generational trauma even, and figure out, you know, what your personal boundaries are. And then these 4 categories are where I would start with trying to really like identify them. And again, write them down so you're very clear and you know what your boundaries are, and then you know when they're crossed, right? So again, these are just some examples for me, like no spanking on physical, in regards to my children, not mentally. The sleep, that was for me, that I need to sleep, I'm gonna sleep. And the kids are gonna learn to let me sleep. You know, but and there are other ones, again, like no forced affection, you know, with extended family, things like that, right? So you have established them, and now you have to hold them. And honestly, I want to be honest in saying that this is probably going to hurt. Like, it's a difficult process, because in order for you to like know what your boundaries are, they've probably already been violated, right? So this can be difficult. But I like to think of it as really going into mama bear mode, right? So it's just that instinctual, you're going to protect your kids, you're going to protect the cubs, and that's the top priority. And that's it, you know. So you know what your priorities are for you and your family, and that's it. And so, oh no, my battery is running low too. Uh-oh. Let me plug in before I die here. Oh no, I thought I had the cord. Where did it go? Well, I'm gonna have to wrap it up, guys. This is another book I recommend, which is The Bitch Protocol by Rosa Alejandra. I could say so much about that book, but it's really about just like loving yourself and knowing what's right for you and knowing what you need. So I highly recommend that book. This was another question I wanted to ask you guys. So again, you can think about this, but what is something that you forgive yourself for? I think we're way too hard on ourselves, and we need to, again, have that compassion that we have for others, for ourselves. So these were some of mine, like being a workaholic, the anger that I had. And then this is for you guys, again, these same 4 categories of setting intentions. So just setting those goals for yourself of what is the most important and what you're going to focus on. So some of them for me was like being outdoors more, taking my medication, doing support groups. On the spiritual, I've been working with a death doula. No more pets. If you see on the screen, those are only some of the pets that we have currently. That is not nearly all of them. But please notice the last one here with the extra toes, because it's just so cute. I gotta also give a quick plug because I am starting a support group with PDA North America. That's for parents to really just vent and share and connect. So I encourage all of you, if you found this helpful at all, to join our support group. It's very casual, just drop in. If you miss, sometimes that's okay, but we'll be there every other week. And I think this is the end. I just wanted to say I'm really, really proud of all of you for being here, for showing up and making just this little bit of time to work on yourself, to really recharge and keep going as the parent that you want to be.
This was really, really wonderful, Carrie. Yeah, so everybody's going to reach out to you now.
Yes, and so this is the link tree for Rise, again, to check out, our workshops are, again, that's all free. And then if you have questions directly for me, definitely feel free to reach out to carriedanny@yahoo.com. If we do have time for questions, and if my computer doesn't die, I can take a few questions. Where is the cord? I swear I had it.
Carrie, I just wanted to say thank you so much. That was so helpful. I took so many pictures just even from my cell phone, and I was texting them to my husband throughout this whole call. It was really incredible. And like, I am so excited to have this also as a product on the website that we can offer to parents, because I think that there was just so many important things mentioned in here that I would have not really considered as like self-care. And it's just so, yeah, it for me as a parent of a PDA and married to a PDA and being autistic myself, it was just really helpful to see all of this through this lens. So I just wanted to thank you so much.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. Really wonderful. Really.
And I will send you the chat log too. There was a few really nice messages for you along the way. I think one question that came in was the book Listen. Who was that by, and what if you had?
Yes, it's Patty Wolfer. I think I have the book, so I'm gonna grab it.
Great.
The book was in my bathroom, by the way. There's a tip. I leave books in the bathroom. That way, whenever I'm in there, I'm just like, oh, let's open it up, because I don't have a lot of free time. It's Patty Whipfler and Tasha Shore. This is
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then a couple more messages that just came in. Someone said, I'm so in awe of you. Thank you so much, Carrie. And then Carrie, it really did remind me of all my favorite childhood memories. This is really the stuff of life. And then I know we probably need to cut it off here because we're running a little late, but the last question I had for you was if you wouldn't mind sharing with everyone where you're located, because those retreats that you have, if anybody happens to be close to you, if you open those to folks, I think that would be something really good for people to know about.
Yeah, we are in California, Central California, so Fresno based. And then, so most of our, so all of our events are in California, but we do sometimes go like to the coast or to the mountains. And then we're based like right in the middle of California.
Awesome.
And yeah, and they are like, so there's one retreat is for cancer patients, but the outdoor events are open to everybody, and the online workshops are as well.
And Carrie, will you send us your slides or handouts of your slides? Because I think people really want them, if that's okay.
Definitely. Yeah,
they're great. Besides being gorgeous, they have so much important content. It was really great. Really good. Like big picture and practical at the same time. Just hard to do.
Yes. Well, thank you both for just, giving me the space to share, and just for everything that you do for the PDA community. I really appreciate it. And I'd be happy to do it again, or we'll make it an annual thing, or we'll.
All right. Or have you do some more things we're going to
the co-parenting one. I'm going to
all
follow up with you.
I know, I love that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're gonna chase you down, but
Okay.
Okay.
we'll
We don't
let
have
you.
to chase her too far. She runs a support group for us, so.
That's true. That is true. Oh,
Okay. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Carrie. You are just truly an inspiration, and we will see you all soon, I hope. Take care. Have a great
Thank
night.
you, everyone. Good night.
good night, everybody.